for those of you who are tuning in right now, we've been running since 6 p.m. UK time. And if you are new to the sessions, please do let us know where you are joining from. My name is Bengü Atamer, and I'm the co-founder of Buzz My Videos. And I am going to let Luke to take it over from me as the host and to introduce other people. And also then I can switch on to my session.
It's good. I'd normally say to you, congratulations on the first half. Now you can sit back and relax and have a beer. But of course, you are joining us now and doing another session as well. So yeah, my name is Luke Sherran. I'm going to be the host of the second half. And Bengü is going to be doing a presentation about live streaming, optimization, and best practices. Now, following on from this session, we're then going to be joined by Chase Reiner about growing a YouTube channel from 0 to 36,000 subscribers. And then last but not least, we have Rob Balasabas on how to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube as quickly as possible. Now, as Bengü just said, if you're watching this live, then please comment with any questions you might have, and we'll try and answer as many as we can in Q&A after the presentation. Now, all these sessions are being recorded, so replays will be available. But if you're live with us now, let us know in the chat where you're from. It's always interesting to know where in the world our audience is joining us from. Now, I appreciate that some of you may have been with us throughout this whole webinar so far. If you have, then kudos to you. But as we're a little bit early, I think it's probably a good time to do a few quick introductions to everybody. So very quickly, I say my name is Luke Sherran. I am the owner of YouTube certified digital marketing agency Falcon Digital, based in the northwest of England. We have always been involved in video production in some way since we started in 2009. But from about 2016, we focused very much on video marketing with real specific interest in the YouTube platform. So obviously, again, we have Bengü as our speaker. Bengü, sorry, where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining from London, UK.
London, excellent. London. And just for those people, again, who've just joined, can you tell us a bit more about yourself? I know you mentioned your company already.
Sure. I am the co-founder of Buzz My Videos, and I used to work at YouTube, Google prior to Buzz My Videos. I've been working in and out YouTube for almost over 10 years now, and our company focuses on all things YouTube, from content strategy to content optimization to content distribution, using our own technology, and we serve anyone who has a YouTube channel, really.
Awesome. And then sitting very patiently, we have our expert panelists. We have Gaёl Breton and Winnie Sun. Winnie, I have to speak to you first just because your setup is so incredibly professional looking, but where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining you from Southern California here in the United States.
Amazing. I'm actually extremely jealous. Having been in Warrington in the UK, I can tell you it's not quite as impressive. And can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. I am so happy to be here with all of you. I am Winnie Sun, founding partner of Sun Group World Partners. And you may have seen me on TV. I am on the CNBC Digital Council. I'm a longtime Forbes contributor, and I'm host of the NASDAQ show, Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Amazing. Great stuff. And Gail, we've not actually spoken before. So hi, how are you? Where are you from today?
I'm from France, but I live in Budapest in Hungary. And I co-founded a company called Authority Hacker, where we do a lot of online marketing training. So if there's some hardcore SEO fans in the room, they probably have heard about it. We have a podcast. We do also live videos. We do all that stuff. So that's why I'm here, basically.
Amazing. Great stuff. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, let's have a quick look at the comments. And it's quite an international affair. Once again, we've got people from Los Angeles, we've got Oakland, we've got India. So yeah, it really is definitely an international audience that we have joining us today. So Bengü, I think it's going to be over to you for your presentation.
All right, perfect. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Can everybody see my screen right now?
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, perfect. So I've already introduced myself, so I'm going to skip that session. And I am today going to be talking about some best practices and kind of optimization tips for live streaming in general on YouTube, which is obviously, as the name refers, it's a very interactive format on YouTube. And we've seen over the years, YouTube is starting favoring this format more and more for various different reasons, because it's more engaging to start with, and you can get a real-time feedback from your audience. And it's if you can nail it, it brings like great feedback and great kind of audience back to the channel. So the reason that we wanted to kind of create these best practices is because during the lockdown, since March, there has been a surge in terms of audience search or behavior when it comes to content that they could watch and relate in real time. And YouTube Live is actually the best kind of format that you could just like make sure that your audience is like engaging with the content. So these are some search terms that we have seen people are kind of getting more and more interested in on YouTube, from live concerts to home fitness to live cooking. And when it comes to kind of like why go live, because there has been a 60% or 70% surge or uplift in terms of viewership demand on YouTube. So it's one of the best times that you can actually kind of leverage this format to engage with your audience if you have a channel. And also, obviously, it's one of the formats that YouTube would potentially kind of favor more over some other formats because of all of these reasons. But then, in terms of how do you proposition live into your existing content strategy, because we have been covering content strategy since the beginning of this 5-hour webinar session. As we all know, content is king, and people come to your channel for a specific reason, because they love your content, because they relate to your content. And introducing live format into that content might be a little bit tricky. So you need to first decide, okay, what is the goal of your live stream? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to get out of your live stream format from the viewers? And the second question that I think everybody should be asking is, okay, I now know my objectives around live streaming. Then is this a format that doesn't necessarily potentially require live? Can this go video on demand? So you also need to understand what is the differentiator, why kind of introducing this live format into your content strategy would make a difference for your audience. And also another important factor, we've always kind of talked about consistency, because once you start live programming, you are introducing a new type of programming on your channel, and you would like people to stick with it, if of course they like it. Then is there a way for you to repeat this? You might have seen with one of our previous guests, excuse me, Nikki Wicks, and he was like the mastermind behind the Body Coach TV, which they have been running an 18-week live streaming, kind of like daily live streaming on YouTube for the nation. And it is something repeatable, and that kind of created that stickiness on the channel. So it's important to understand, okay, this format, I know my objectives, and I know that I can make a difference, but can I stick to this format once people really, really like this format? And another important piece with live content, I think, is its exclusivity, because it potentially disappears. Now we are on a live stream, it's going to go on video on demand, but for people who are not joining into this live stream, they are potentially missing out. And we need to kind of build upon that missing out factor, meaning what are the key elements that we could just like create that fear of missing out from this session, so that we can make our next live stream more and more on demand. Obviously, I've just put one example from one of the musicians, Alec Benjamin. He is, as you can see even from the thumbnail, he has been live streaming from the lockdown days, and even from the thumbnail, it's very authentic. It's very natural. You could understand that he's kind of creating that connection with his fans. Being authentic is, I think, is key not only to live streaming, but also on any content on YouTube. So with that, all of this presentation obviously is based on our own kind of best practices and know-how, but some of it is also coming from YouTube's original live streaming best practices playbook. And what they kind of recommend is, okay, once you're integrating live streaming into your content strategy, you need to be thinking of like a couple of various different things to make that live stream more engaging to your core. And how do you do that? First of all, you can create some sort of a suspense, meaning that feeling of anticipation, because it's live right now. Anything could happen, obviously, hopefully good things happen. And if I was to create that suspense, which I'm not sure if I'm doing right now, but for instance, there is a great example here from Tom Daly's channel. He started doing live streaming, and he was just like asking his audience to keep up with him during the live streaming, to kind of not telling them what's next, but kind of giving it on the go. And that creates that engagement, because if I don't know what's going to be coming next, then I would be sticking up and kind of paying more attention to the content that's being presented. And obviously, as it's kind of live, we are assuming that it's going to be interactive. One of the best kind of ways of live streaming is hosting an interview or hosting a Q&A and making it a part of your community. Right now, in the second half of this live section, we will be having some questions and answers, and potentially we will be picking some questions from the audience, and that's going to make it more interactive, because if you were to call a name out of the audience, we would then grasp their attention, obviously. And you might have seen not only YouTube, but some other platforms have tuned into this as well, creating live as a shared experience. For instance, I think, if I'm not wrong, Netflix created this experience that they enabled with an extension that people could actually watch the same movie or the same series at the same time together. And that creates a shared experience. You could do the same thing on YouTube. Potentially, you could just like create that shared experience within your community and make it a little bit more dynamic. And that is kind of like the core, that should be the core of your content strategy. When you are thinking about live, you need to be thinking of, okay, how am I going to make it, creating that suspense? How am I going to create that interactivity? How am I going to create that shared experience among my audience and among my community? And once you've nailed, let's imagine that you've nailed your content strategy, you've nailed the different elements to your live stream, then one important thing that you need to be focusing on is like anything and everything that you would do before your live stream. So again, this is going back to your content strategy. With content strategy, the key is, okay, your content is king, your content is your best asset, and YouTube favors great content. But if you push your content on YouTube a little bit too early or a little bit too late, then you lose the potential of your content, meaning you lose its power. So you need to know actually when you need to go live, what is going to make the most impact in terms of tuning in live. And I've just like brought a great example. Again, giving this example during the lockdown days, there has been a live stream that has been phenomenally successful, in my opinion, because first it was broadcasted from Italy. It was broadcast from Milan. Italy, as you know, it was one of the countries that was most impacted from, unfortunately, COVID-19. And it was a live stream of Andrea Bocelli from Duomo. And it was live streamed on the Good Friday, if I'm not wrong. It was live streamed on a moment that was culturally a significant day as well. So that made that live stream like a significant and a powerful time to bring it up. And that was one of the best live streams that I think has ever worked on YouTube. So if that live stream happened any other time, I am sure it would be really successful again, because it had a great kind of voice behind it and a great setting. But the timing made it extra special and extra successful. So knowing when to schedule your live stream is really key, and you need to understand, okay, my content is really specific to XYZ audience, and XYZ audience is really keen to go online on XYZ date. And this could be, I mean, this could go back to your tentpole programming opportunities. Like obviously you would get more audience on some specific key dates if you were to kind of mark them down. Or you need to understand when your audience is actually tuning into your channel or on YouTube in general. And then another important piece that you need to kind of program or plan ahead before your live stream is, okay, how am I going to market my live stream to the audience? One good way of doing it is actually creating a trailer or a teaser to promote the event itself. And actually you can upload that trailer or teaser ahead of the time on YouTube and cross-promote it on your channel. If you have a good following, that's going to work like wonders. And also, before your live stream, you need to think of, okay, what is relevant right now in terms of the specific hashtags that are trending that you could kind of put your live stream on as kind of like favor from those hashtags. And again, with the lockdown, we had a lot of interest around hashtags like stay at home, sing with me, cook with me, or potentially home concert, live from home, live lockdown live. So these were trending at that time. Right now, there might be other hashtags that you could make favor from, or in the future, you could think of, obviously think of what might be relevant for that specific key date that you will be going online. And consistency is obviously key. Please do not think just about your YouTube channel. Think of all of your properties. You might be sitting on a gold mine. You might have more following on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or wherever you may be. And you need to cross-promote your live stream teaser or trailer video across all of these platforms as well. Again, before your live stream, another area, as I said, like sometimes it's always forgotten that yes, you have a YouTube channel, but on that YouTube channel, there are various different places that you could potentially edit and you could potentially shout out and cross-promote yourself. One of them is your channel trailer. You could set a video as your channel trailer, and whomever is coming to your channel as a new subscriber or potentially an existing subscriber, you can just bring it to their attention as setting your promotional content on the channel as a channel trailer. This is one thing that you should definitely do. Plus, there is this visual element. Normally, most of your traffic might be coming from either YouTube search or YouTube suggested video views, or potentially externally from shares or likes from other platforms. But still, some percentage, even it's 1%, some people are directly finding your channel and landing on your channel page. And on your channel page, there is a massive banner that you could put any message on. And if that message is actually cross-promoting your own live event, that's definitely going to bring you conversion, or that's going to stick in the minds of those audience, saying that, okay, maybe next Tuesday I'm going to tune into this channel back because there is potentially a live stream happening on next Tuesday. So please do make sure to use your own assets, especially your own YouTube channel, because that's your best marketing asset as we speak. And this is an example from the Body Coach TV. They are obviously making great kind of like promotional activities leveraging their own channel because they have a massive following. They're speaking to millions of subscribers. And what they did, they also curated all of their live streaming in a live shelf. So it again goes back to my idea of like creating that fear of missing out. So if I was to miss out, then I could potentially go back to the Body Coach TV channel and I could find their various different curated content from different days and different weeks that they have live streamed, and I could actually reach that content. That would give me some idea actually why I need to tune in again for their next live stream. There is this, it might be a little bit tricky, but imagine that your channel might be small or big, whatever the size is. on your channel, there are different other elements that you can kind of program and that are under your control. One of them is your end screens. One of them is your kind of video descriptions. Let's imagine that you have 100 videos sitting on your channel today, and they are generating maybe 1 million views or maybe 1,000 views. It doesn't matter. You could go back and you could cross-promote your existing live streaming trailer across your end screens, across your video descriptions, across your comments, across your video cards. These are all under your control. And if you were to use them in your advantage, you never know. Maybe 1% is going to convert from your end screens, and then maybe 0.5% is going to convert from your video descriptions. But at the end of the day, maybe in total, 10 or 5% of that audience is going to come back to your live stream as a new audience. So please do leverage your best asset, which is your existing YouTube channel or any other YouTube channel that you may actually have hands on. That would be a great place to start. I really love this new functionality on YouTube, which is the community tab. I'm not sure if anybody is using the community tab. I know it's only available for channels with 1,000 subscribers and more, but it's kind of, I see it as like YouTube's answer to the Facebook feed potentially, because whatever you post on the community tab is also available on the YouTube homepage, which is the best place that you could be. And it's not limited, because you can post on the community tab a plain text announcement. You could post links. You could post an image, as you can see here. You could post GIFs. You could post videos or polls. You could do you have a variety of different topics and content formats that you could post on the community tab. And this is another place that you should definitely post about your live stream, upcoming live stream. And once you do it before the live stream, obviously during the live stream, you should be posting as well. So if Semrush Live right now has a community tab, they should please post on the community tab as I speak. And the beauty of it is you would get a lot of engagement because it's going to drop into the feed of the YouTube homepage. And there is no better place than the YouTube homepage actually for you to be in. While let's imagine that you've done everything right, you've decided which kind of live streaming format you're going to introduce, you have decided the date, and you've picked an amazing date where most of the audience is going to be online, and you've cross-promoted your upcoming live stream event across your channel, across your channel trailer, across your community tab, and now it's the date that live streaming is happening. Then potentially what you could do, if you have a team off the back of your channel, and if you have some tools and technology, that they could go back as the live stream is happening, they could go back to your existing videos and they could post the live streaming link again on the video descriptions, on the video end screens, on the video cards. And I know this could be a cumbersome kind of process for some, because it might be time consuming. But if you do that, then anyone who might be watching your existing content right now, once they kind of come to the end of that video, they may actually understand that there's a live streaming going on the channel, and they may tune in. So there are some tools and technology around this that you could potentially use as well. And we as a company provide those as well. And there are some other companies who provide those technology that you could instantly change all of these elements on your YouTube channel. And it's really, really powerful. And obviously after your live stream, this is one of the most crucial kind of elements, because after your live stream, you also need to be thinking of, okay, am I going to make the full live stream available online, which I believe this live stream is going to be available online. But do I want to kind of reclip it a little bit, re-edit it, and in order to create that fear of missing out? And I'm keeping kind of mentioning this fear of missing out because live streaming is a one-time opportunity. And the more you could kind of take out of that opportunity, the better. So if you have the capability to kind of reclip anything and everything and to show some of that content to some of the audience, but to keep some others to yourself for future potential use, or to create that kind of, again, fear of missing out, that might actually work in your favor. But This depends on your channel. This depends on your content strategy. This depends on what you want to achieve on the content. Here, for instance, I think Alec Benjamin is like putting most of his content of all of his live streams on the channel. But again, you may consider kind of what goes back on the channel as video on demand content in digestible kind of formats versus is it just a full-on live stream? So this is something that you need to think of strategically, and you need to kind of make sure that the audience is actually kind of wanting that or not. I've been speaking a lot, but maybe I haven't been doing a lot of community engagement. So right now I know I'm live, and if I were to kind of ask everybody to, if they are enjoying this session, give a like or potentially a subscribe to the channel, and that would actually kind of potentially take your attention back to me speaking and kind of giving you a direct call to action. And that really works, because immediately you kind of get out of that flow and put the attention back to what I am actually saying. So this is important. If you can kind of include a kind of chat moderation, and YouTube is great with that. They provide a lot of different functionalities and features on the live stream itself. So you could use those. You could break your content into different kind of sections. You could, if you know your audience, if there are some old timers, or if they're like core audience that you know, you could speak to them directly. You could call out names. And again, that's going to create that engagement. With live, it's all about community and community engagement, and you need to kind of use it the most. I know we would be taking some questions from this stream, so, and I can't see what you are posting right now, but I'm hoping you are posting something right now. And that was all about live. But very recently, you might have also seen on YouTube, there is this thing called YouTube Premieres. It's not a live stream. It is actually a pre-recorded video, and but it acts like a live stream, but it also acts like a video on demand content, which is really, really interesting, because imagine that this live stream is recorded, finished, and tomorrow we were to take this video and upload it on YouTube as a premiere, which we could potentially. And you could set it as a premiere. The benefits of premiere are interesting, because the minute you set content as premiere, it creates a watch page, and a watch page is really important because it's searchable. And if you were to title this content and put a nice description, very good optimized description, search friendly especially, and a really good thumbnail, then you are potentially getting onto that search algorithm and tapping into that discoverability with a potential live experience. Because once it premieres on a specific date that you set up, then it kind of creates that live experience. People could chat, you could reply to those chats, or you could just engage with the audience. It is a semi-video on demand content and semi-live streaming experience. And the beauty of it is you could actually set a reminder for a premiere, meaning you could actually kind of set it as a premiere, get the attention, get the search traffic, and ask people to click on the notifications or to set a reminder. And once the content goes live properly, then they could actually engage with the content. But that notification system is interesting, because then you are reminding people to come back to the channel or to come back to the content at a specific date. And that's really what I like, because that creates that habit in people's minds, and they just remember it. And premieres I think is a great way to establish that. If you haven't tried it, I highly encourage you to try uploading one of your upcoming videos as a premiere and engaging with your audience, and see and compare it with your other live streaming kind of content to see if there are any differences. With that, I'm going to kind of slightly touch upon notifications, which is becoming more and more prominent on YouTube. Obviously, one thing that you need to ask your audience is like, hey, please hit that subscription button. But then after the subscription button, please do hit that notification bell icon, because if you do so, you are going to get a notification whenever that channel uploads new content, posts on the community tab potentially, and you will get that notification on your mobile and potentially as an email, which is definitely much better than having a subscriber without a notification system, because the subscriber might potentially miss out on your next upload. Whereas if you had your subscriber enabled notifications, they can be notified across all of their devices and they wouldn't miss out. So you are going to be increasing your tune-in rate to all of your video uploads, but also to your live streams as well. So I highly recommend you to go and watch this video. If maybe Semrush could post the link to this video, how to encourage your audience to enable those notifications. This is not only important for live streams, but this is important for any other uploads on the channel. I think with live streams in general, please do think of like your content strategy. How do you introduce live into your channel? Your before the live stream, what are the different things that you need to be doing to cross promote your live stream? During the live stream, please, if you can, cross promote your live stream using your channel. After the live stream, okay, how do you what do you give to the audience? What do you keep to yourself to kind of make sure that they come back to the channel? And please make sure to test premieres or encourage people to enable notifications. With that, I'm just going to show you a few kind of good examples that I've seen over the last couple of months where live streaming was used in a really innovative way or in a new way. One of them is Travis Scott. He's a rap artist in the US, and he's launched like within a gaming community. He's launched one of his like a live streaming event. He's launched one of his albums, and it was, I think, impressive. It has kind of reached various different YouTube records, and I've just posted here some interest over time for different gaming games. One of them is Animal Crossing, and another one is Fortnite. As you can see, Animal Crossing has taken over Fortnite very recently. So if you are considering kind of introducing live streaming into your programming, you may as well go very creative, and you may as well introduce it through a gaming event, and you may as well do it because they are highly active, they're online, and you may actually kind of leverage that back to your own channel. Another great example is, I think, during the lockdown, I'm Turkish, by the way, I've come across this channel, which is streaming some great music live streaming, but they are getting some sponsorship as well to their music live streaming, and they are doing brunch sessions. And I found it really engaging because normally you would go out on a brunch but during the lockdown, this kind of created a new way of kind of engaging with the audience, and they've used their live sessions in a really unique and interesting way, so which I thought might bring on board to other people's attention as well. And lastly, YouTube started promoting content that is tagged with using the hashtag with me. So it could be listening to music with me, cooking with me, drawing with me, doing makeup with me, anything with me. And if you were to hashtag your content and create a live stream using this, then you might be tapping into the YouTube discoverability a little bit more. And this is something to bear in mind. Not only YouTube, but some other platforms are using different hashtags during different times. And if you are considering kind of doing a live stream, you may actually benefit from it. Here is a good example of Hari Gotra. She is actually doing live streams every Friday, and her live streams are tagged as "Stay at home and cook along with me." And she's just not doing a simple live stream. She's just doing it as with the "with me" hashtag, which is actually helping her to get discovered more. And another great way that I found using live stream is actually bringing your archive content back online. Radiohead has done a great job with this, and we are all thankful. They have been live streaming their previous concerts, and this is a screenshot from a website called Social Blade. I was checking if there was an impact of these previous archive content coming to the platform as a new live stream, and as you can see, they've just like had a surge in an uplift, a great uplift in terms of getting more subscribers to their channel. So if you happen to sit on great archive content, which you may not, but if you do, please do bring it back as potentially like a live streaming programming, and that may kind of untap your fan loyalty in a different way. Last but not the least, with live streaming, you can also do some good. YouTube has some good functionalities where you could set a live streaming and partner up with a charity and create a donation for them. This is a live stream from the Boiler Room. They have been raising some funds for various different charities, and I think it's a great way of making use of live streams in general. So if you happen to have an idea, please do some good and do live stream for good. With that, these are my handles, and if you would like to kind of reach out, please do not hesitate. I hope you enjoyed this session, and now I'm going to go back to seeing myself. 1 second.
That was an awesome session, Bengü. Thank you very much indeed for sharing that. As someone who doesn't do anywhere near enough kind of live content, I've been making lots of notes from your presentation. It was extremely useful. We've got a few questions coming through on the chat, but I've got a couple of my own first, if that's okay. I can be a bit cheeky and ask my own questions. Just out of curiosity, is there like a minimum size community, like a minimum number of subscribers that you should have before you consider doing live video? I remember in the past when I tried it, I had about 1,000 subscribers on my channel. It was very small, and I only had maybe about 17 people and I've turned up. Is there a minimum requirement, a minimum size?
So if I'm not wrong, it should your channel should have like minimum 1,000 subscribers.
Probably,
to be
yeah.
Like live streams. So somebody can correct me on that, but that's what I know. But if you're asking ideally what your audience should be, I mean, you may not have 1,000 subscribers. Let's imagine that you have 1,000 subscribers, but if you were to bring some other audience from another platform, where you might be huge, then it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have on YouTube, obviously. But as far as I know, the threshold is 1,000 subscribers.
Okay, perfect. I've got a question from Homebrew Audio. They ask, is there a benefit of live video on YouTube over Facebook? Oh, and by the way, Gail and Winnie, by the way, please feel free to join in these questions as well.
Okay, actually, I wanted to add to that. I wanted to say, when you have the opportunity to promote your stream, right? There's essentially two opportunities you have. You can either stream as well on Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., or you can promote your YouTube stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. It's kind of hard to do both when you do social promotion. And so I was wondering in which case you would recommend which, basically.
Yeah, and we, to answer that question, we actually stream on all channels at one time. So we go YouTube, 2 Facebooks, a Twitter, and a LinkedIn all at once. It's just a very efficient use of time. And because we have my biggest audience is on Twitter. And so I actually do a stock market recap after the market closes, like it just did right now, afterwards, to talk about what happened and talk about financial matters that are important for people to know so that they can better manage their money. So I think it just depends on where your audience is. And I think it's really important to include the area that you are most present at and you have the most engagement. And that way you can sort of share, you can share audiences. And most important, it's a great use of your time instead of just streaming at one place.
Yeah, what strategy you use to do that actually? Like how do you multi-stream?
So I multi-stream off of StreamYard, which is where we're streaming right now. And we just do multiple channels. In fact, I'm actually going to be, well, I guess it's not a secret now, I'm gonna tell everybody, I'm actually going to be hosting a show on a different platform in a couple of weeks that has a huge presence on YouTube, which is where like my presence isn't as big on YouTube, but we're going to be multi-stream on their platform as well as my platforms and really combining audiences streaming at once. So I think it's just, I think the key thing that I've learned is it's all about consistency. And the more you can stream, the better. The other thing is we had a question that came in that asked about whether or not you want to do more of a behind the scenes sort of stream or a polished. I thought I would touch upon that because people ask me this all the time. And I actually produce content in a way that I like to look at. So I really love eye-friendly content. So therefore I make sure that our setup looks that way as well.
So yeah, just to recap, that was a question from Dom O'Neill, and he said, should our live videos have more of a behind the scenes look rather than a more highly polished look? And is that something that you agree with too, Bengü?
It depends on the audience, I would say. If it's like and let's say if you're talking about some musicians, I would love to see some behind the scenes because it's like so exclusive, you know. But then also if it's like if I'm really interested in the actual food cooking element of it, then maybe it's just the actual raw and good quality format of that cooking, so I can see all of the ingredients, I can see all of the like how it's kind of the process is just working. So it comes down to the content and the audience, so it's a mix. But like looking at the screen right now, definitely I can see the setup that Winnie is on is actually a winning setup.
Definitely. And on that note, in terms of the different audiences and things, are there certain topics or certain niches that probably lend themselves more to being relevant for live streams, do you think? Anyone?
I don't think so.
I'll
jump on that. I actually don't think so. Rob, by the way, love seeing you here. I don't think so. You know, Rob and I were actually on a panel at VidCon not that long, I think last year. And one thing that we noted that live stream content, as long as you have some value to share and you have something that is of value to your audience, then I think all in every industry can benefit from live stream. We saw that with Roger Wakefield, who is a plumber out of Dallas, Texas. Rob obviously has amazing content. Mine is financial content. I think it's like saying that, you know, who shouldn't pass out our business card or have a bio. Everybody should have a bio. Everybody should have a presence or something on social media. And therefore, live streaming is yet just another way to share your brand. So there's no reason to think that anyone should not live stream unless really they're not comfortable being on camera. Then that's totally okay too.
Yeah. I think one of the big advantages of live video, from my perspective, is that a lot of production goes into our videos, and we have to spend a lot of time filming it, then we have to spend a lot of time editing it, and then when I get involved in events like this, we produce the content, and then that's it. It's done. There's no editing or anything. It just goes live straight away. It just seems to cut out. Yeah, it cuts like
that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, it just feels like you can output so much more content so much faster, and people are much more okay with it being slightly rougher or whatever, provided you give fresher information. That's kind of the trade-off, is like production quality against freshness of information. And if people get fresher information, they're willing to trade that out. I actually had a question to people, which is, how many of the people that come to your live stream are like discovering you because of the live stream? Like, is this a channel that you use for people to discover you, or is this a channel you use to engage people who already follow you? My personal opinion is that it's more something that you use to engage people who already follow you, and then you use your regular YouTube videos to rank for keywords, get subscribers, and then these people get notified when you go live. Would you agree to that, or do you think I'm wrong?
I think I would agree with that in the most part. I think it's going to be different for everybody and every channel. But yeah, no, I think that would definitely make sense. I think from my personal perspective, I don't watch a lot of live streams after they've been recorded. I like watching them live, I like being involved in them live. But then once, if I see the video and it's got like a 1 hour timestamp within it on YouTube, it's a little bit off-putting sometimes. So I'll probably go for the shorter content that's been designed more for me to consume in that way. But I do like being involved in live streams when they're live. If that makes sense. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's also a technical point of view, right? Because if you think about the way YouTube makes you discover videos, the way they do it is they actually automatically transcribe what you say, and then they use these keywords to essentially, push videos that are relevant to what you're interested in, except they don't have the processing power to process what you're doing live. Therefore, live stream discoverability on YouTube is not my favorite. It's like, I really feel like when people ask me about this, I'm like, well, you should make videos that actually already get views. get subscribers, and then the live stream starts making sense when you can bring enough people around when you're doing this. And that's when I think what you said, premieres really come into account, because premieres allow you to get the benefits of live stream and the exposure of live streams with regular content videos that you can then rank later, etc. And you can actually get that kind of like hype and spike of views at the beginning, which tend to help them rank higher, which then builds the audience for your live streaming. Again, I don't know if you guys agree on it.
Yeah, I like premieres a lot. I think, again, for me personally, I've done very few live streams on my own personal channels, and premieres has been like a good alternative for that. One issue I have with premieres is that some people obviously have had some success with premieres and then decide that every single video that they do moving forwards is then going to be a premiere, and I find that a little bit off-putting. But I think if you pick and choose it for the right content, so if you have a piece of hero content that you've been working on for a long time, do that as a premiere, then great, that makes absolutely lots of sense. But just don't do it for every single
we actually do that. So for our podcast, we have the pre-recorded podcast, because so that we can release at the same time depending on guests, etc. And what we do is we actually have a live Q&A on the chat while we're doing that. So actually we, the founder of the companies, are here. And so what it does as well is it boosts the engagement. So like we're actually like, hey, what's up? And like we have the regulars, etc. And what happens is that because of the increased engagement in the chat, we actually get pushed much more. And then as a result, the premiere actually reaches a lot more subscribers. And because it's been uploaded before, it's been captioned by Google. So actually it can also be pushed by interest, and it ranks for keywords as well. Whereas lives don't always do, actually.
Awesome. Good tip. I like that. Got a few more questions. Oh, sorry, Winnie. So what did you say? Sorry?
No, I said I wrote that down. That was a great tip.
Okay, got another question then coming through. Umesh Verma. He says, what's the best way to determine the best time for one's audience? Are there tools? I can answer this question if you like. I've used a couple of different tools in the past, or I actually still use those tools. So, for example, TubeBuddy, I noticed Rob Balasabas is in the comments right now, and of course vidIQ as well. They provided a pretty good estimate in terms of your viewership, which I think was based on the number of views videos had received in the past. However, YouTube has also recently added a new feature in analytics. So under the audience tab, you can now see a section that says when your viewers are on YouTube. I've been using this for a few weeks, and it's been really, really powerful in terms of helping with scheduling. So I'm assuming that exact same tool will help with your live streams as well. Anybody got anything else you want to add to that one?
No.
I
Okay.
was going to say that the YouTube new functionality is like, we haven't tried, but if you're trying, I think it should be really powerful, because it exactly tells when they are tuning online.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
I had a
question.
slightly. Oh, can I ask a question?
Sorry, please do. Yeah.
So in your presentation, Bengü, for you actually, you mentioned that you create highlights from your live streams, and then you take clips from it, etc. Which I see, like, it's kind of like I have a dilemma with this. It's like, do you think it alienates your best followers because they see the same content twice, or is this a great way to reach more people with the same content, basically?
Really good question. Like, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think you could actually take those highlights, like the best moments, and potentially use it as your teaser or trailer for your next upcoming event to just like get more attention, because saying that this is what happened and this is what you've missed out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, when you do a live, it's usually quite long. And it's like, let's say you're talking for an hour, and then you're talking about 5, 6, 7 different topics. And so what might happen, sorry, Siri just got excited. And what happens is like, there's maybe like individual topics that would actually be a great 10-minute video, like that clip, like might do well here. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, is it worth essentially recycling these things? Do you want to recycle these things maybe on social media instead and send people to your YouTube channel or something like that? Or like what would be the best way to essentially extract these micro pieces of content within a live stream?
Okay, I have a suggestion for that. You could actually recycle them for your external social media platforms, right? Because YouTube has already seen it. And on YouTube, you could potentially use things like chapters, etc. And kind of people can actually navigate, because it's like a 6 hour.
Can you deep link to chapters? Can you do that yet? You can do a timestamp on the links. You can do a share to like 5 minutes or something. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. So you could share on social media. You could have the clip and be like, oh, I'd like watch the full thing or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can share the timestamp in the URL as well.
Okay.
One of the things that I found quite interesting actually on that point is that a lot of bigger channels, like for example, the Joe Rogan podcast, they will obviously publish their entire content. Yeah, so exactly, they have 2 channels. So they've got one that produces like the 3-hour full piece of content, and then they have a second channel which is just the highlights. If I'm honest, I only really watch the highlight channel. That's the one I watch the most, because again, it's those 10-15 minute bite-sized clips, and I know if they picked up something that's really interesting, it's not a bit where in the podcast there's a bit of a natural lull, for example. So I really like that. Obviously, it's not going to work for everybody.
A lot of people do that. It works if you have a big audience, though. But like what it does is like you watch one clip and then you get suggested all the other clips, and then you're that kind of person, and then there's the other a completely different audience that just watches the live or something like that, and so you get double, and you rank for keywords with this.
Yeah, I mean, there was one that I watched recently with the Joe Rogan podcast where it was Elon Musk was the guest, and I ended up watching 2 or 3 clips, and then I ended up downloading the podcast anyway, and then listening to that in my car. So I actually listened to a lot of the content twice. So it definitely works. Got a question from Andy Simpson. Hi, Andy. How effective do you find telling users to subscribe works? Can you see it on your stats when a user subscribes or hits the bell icon? And that's for anyone. Again,
I mean, telling people to subscribe, yes, it works. I mean, like when we do it live, you just see subscribe just spike up and everything. And even if you do premieres, actually say on the chat, if people are in the chat, and people will also thumb it up. So if you get early thumbs up, you will rank higher and you get more suggestions to your subscribers. So actually, you can even do that in your premieres, and we actually use that to, as a new channel, get a lot more exposure than we would normally. And because we beat the ratio of views against thumbs up, we would actually get a lot more exposure. So yeah, it works very well.
That's a great example as well, actually, about being live, having that live stream. You got that kind of immediate feedback that you can see, so you can test things. So if you do have a queue to subscribe, you can actually see, do you actually get any subscribers at that point? That's quite interesting.
If you do a proper OBS setup, actually, you can actually have on-screen call to actions, etc. Right? If you set that up with the clips, etc. Like, I mean, if you want to learn this stuff, like go on Twitch and watch the streamers. These are the guys that are pioneering that industry, and they've been doing that for many years. And everyone's just trying to catch up right now. But like, go and watch some gaming streams, and you see how crazy the call to actions are. And the feedback is when people interact with the streamers or when they make a donation, it pops up on the screen, and there's like some like custom emoticons for the channels, etc. And these things is what, I mean, a tamed version of that is what's coming to the masses, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one of the things that we've noticed works the best is actually like a verbal cue in the video. I think we've noticed that when we've used like lower thirds animations, they've not been as successful.
You need to say it at the same time.
But then,
you say it plus it pops at the same time. That's how it works.
Okay, sounds good. In terms of looking in stats, Andy, you can definitely see which videos have generated the most subscribers. I don't know if you can see if they've clicked the notification bell. I know you can see a percentage of how many have clicked for notification bell, but I don't know if you can see specifically when they've done it. Okay, All Things Iceland has a question. It says, how often do you recommend doing a YouTube live video? Oh, sorry, Winnie, you're on mute. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear us, Winnie, but you're still no sound coming.
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to guess anyway that question is going to be different for every user. So, for example, going back to your point, Gail, about gamers, I mean, gamers can stream for what, 8 hours a day?
10 hours a day,
yeah.
10 hours a day, and that's their life, you know. So, but like, I mean, obviously, if you have nothing to say, I would say don't stream. But like, it's like you can stream daily. It's kind of like stories. I mean, I think live streams are like long stories as a content type. In my opinion. So it's like, you know, how people just like make 5-6 stories a day. Like maybe you can do one live stream a day that just gathers everything that you have to say. And because the more engagement you get, the more distribution you get, it's kind of like snowballs. Awesome. But I'm sure Winnie has something.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're back in the game.
Oh, good. Well, I would say that my answer would be that you live stream as much as you possibly can. We actually didn't live stream that much until we had to shelter in place, and so I had to bring our entire studio equipment home. And it was really, we did more live streaming because, like you mentioned earlier, it's just too much time to produce videos when everybody was not in one place. And we've noticed that as soon as we started to live stream consistently, as much as possible, the numbers jump so significantly, not on just one platform, but on all platforms across the board. And so I think that because live streaming is so easy to do, you should just try and do it as much as you can. And the other thing I would suggest you do is to hit record on your camera. And that way you have the higher quality resolution as well, so that your team can then take it back and create snippets and create additional live to tape content, so that, don't make it. I'm all about efficiency because we're so busy. Try to do this as much as you can, make it practice so you get good at it. But most importantly, think about how this content can sit on other platforms in other ways, and build bigger on your brand besides just live streaming. Because at the end of the day, many of us live stream for a new additional business, right? So it shouldn't just be that live stream audience. Many of us aren't in the world of just entertainment, but really in terms of revenue generating. So think about that.
Brilliant. I really like that concept as well about filming and
you can take quotes and everything. And for example, as I said, stories is a good thing. Like if there's an interesting quote from a guest or something, that you put that on your story. And then if you have more than 10,000 followers, then they can swipe up, get to the replay of the video, that kind of stuff. And then you can basically reuse all your content all the time. And that's what these people doing the clip channels do, basically.
Bengü, when YouTube first started doing live stream, it felt like there was a bit of a natural push. Obviously, it's a new kind of it was new functionality for them at the time. It felt like they were giving extra reach to people that had used that live stream functionality. Is that still the case? Is that you still get a little bit more reach with live stream, or is it not so much anymore?
So I think there is still some sort of a special treatment for it, because if you think about it, right now this channel is live, and if I'm a subscriber of the channel, it would showcase the channel with a red kind of icon around it on the homepage. So it's kind of like a distinct way of like pushing it a little bit forward. And obviously it's getting more engagement. People are commenting on it, liking on it, and potentially sharing it. I'm assuming that engagement, obviously if it's in bigger numbers, could potentially hit this channel to a trending place, where it depends on the volumes of the numbers. I still think that there is a special treatment to live content, although I cannot scientifically prove this to you.
Or anecdotal, yeah.
I'm coming back. My camera just decided to turn off for some reason. So
no problem. We can still hear you at least anyway.
Exactly.
On that note, actually, Bengü, it was funny because at one point I noticed a lot of people that were doing like non-live stream content were actually putting the little emoticon icon into the title to make it look like it was actually live, which was, I thought was quite funny.
I remember that there are some others, like especially some kids programming channels, they were like looping it like a lot of episodic content into a live stream as if it was a live stream, but it wasn't a live stream. So.
But the thing as well is on YouTube still the discoverability of live streams is pretty terrible compared to many other platforms. I mean, like a lot of, for example, a lot of esports have moved from like Twitch to YouTube and lost 80% of their audience. But YouTube is making massive moves into acquiring streamers right now, like in gaming as well. Like for example, Ninja started to stream there, which is the biggest streamer in the world right now. They have license deals for live streaming, etc. And they have teased a redesign that will actually feature live streaming a lot more. So I would suspect that live streaming will be featured a lot more in the native interface of YouTube, maybe a tab on mobile, and maybe even a section on your homepage or something like that on desktop. It's hard to tell what it's going to be, but given the amount of money they're spending, it's going to be featured more.
Gail, you seem to know a lot about kind of the gaming side of things. Is there like an interest for YouTube to try and compete with things like Twitch and bring those kind of streamers over?
They bought the rights to like the Overwatch League for like $25 million or something.
Really?
And they're making multi-million-dollar contracts with streamers, etc. So they are making the acquisitions right now, but they're not really giving them the platform. Like they're not getting the numbers they used to get on Twitch. Therefore, it would make sense that they would give them more exposure after spending this much money. And hopefully, I mean, Google is known for also failing a bunch of projects, so let's see how this goes. But they are making more and more moves towards live, so I would suspect that they will push this forward more as well.
Awesome. Good stuff. Interestingly, Winnie, you and I are getting questions about our audio setups. Apparently people seem to quite like them. In terms of my setup, is really simple. I just have a Blue Yeti mic, which you can use for podcasting. It's just a condenser mic. It's a USB one that plugs directly into my laptop. I've had more complex setups in the past, but this just seems to work in a very, very simple way. What do you have there, Winnie? Yours is all kind of nicely hidden away.
Sure. I actually, the battery just died, so I had to change microphones. But I am running a lav. This is a Sennheiser mic that goes into the Rode pack. So it's wireless to my camera. And then I just switched over to my trusty Shure condenser mic, which I love. So that's what I'm using.
Awesome. Good stuff. Okay, I think we're probably going to wrap up at this point, just conscious of time. Guys, very quickly, where can people find you online if they want to find you? Bengü, I'll start with you.
On LinkedIn, on Twitter, and also through our website. Maybe Semrush could just put up the links on the line. Thank you so much.
There you go. Look at that. They've got everyone's, in fact. But Gail and Winnie, just in case, where else can can people find you online?
Go ahead, Winnie.
Oh, okay. I'm really easy. I'm at winniesun.com. I'm very, very active on Twitter, which is at Winnie Sun. You can follow me on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, I would love to chat with all of you and get to know you better. And that's that.
And Gail?
People can go on Atari Hacker. We have a podcast where we talk about all these, talk about all these technical things and on how these things work. We have a weekly podcast on this. So if you like long form content on this kind of content, you can just search for us on the podcast platform. We're on YouTube obviously as well. And we have a bunch of content on our site too. So Atari Hacker.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much. Listen, guys, thank you very much for being involved in this today. And thank you everyone in the chat for your questions. Big thank you to Bengü again for sharing her presentation with us, especially given the fact that she was hosting the first half of this webinar as well. You can now finally sit back and have that, that well-deserved beer, I think. So yeah, thank you very much for taking part. And we'll start heading over to the next session. I believe everybody is backstage and eagerly waiting to join us. And here they come now. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.